Today, we're gonna share with you some of our experience in these 26 years that I've been working with design. Actually, I started doing engineer, but I do this just for 3 weeks. Yeah, the very scary calculus books, and I changed to design. I studied design, graphic and industrial design in Rio de Janeiro. And part of the beginning of our company is completely connected with my final project in the university. Sorry about my English, but probably it's much better than your Portuguese. I'll do my best. And I was in the beginning of the design course, and I would like to design packagings. And I was challenged for my teacher in that time, is my guru until today, to think in the really inspiring packaging. And she asked me, hey, do you really pay attention in the packaging that brought you to the world? And she was talking about the belly of my mother. In the beginning, this looks like a little bit strange for me, but after this, I understood that I had an amazing opportunity to explore another way to think design. And I did it, and my project was about how nature packs things. Imagine, for example, a banana, like the most friendly packaging that is possible to imagine, to compare this with that terrible sachets of ketchup and mustard. But we're still doing sachets like that, having this kind of inspiration in front of us. Or the tangerine is an individual dose for each one to take pieces to try. Or the atmosphere of our planet, that is the packaging that guarantee life here. Without this packaging, we are not going to be here. And this was so fascinating for me, and I really started there, and I've been studying this subject in the last 25 years, and I teach biomimicry in the university. It's the science. It's really obvious because it's the idea that you can bring inspiration from nature to design things, for engineer, for architecture, for everything. It's a lot of creative intelligence in the same way. It's more than 3.8 billion years of R&D. And the most exciting part of this is that God doesn't charge any copyright. It's completely copyleft. You can go there to pick the inspirations and to use in different situations. In that time, I was eco-designer, very xiita, and I called the green political part attention, and they invited me to design the button for the president candidates. In that moment, in 1989, and for me, the ecological subject should be something really personal, not generic, not everybody with a green button part in their clothes. And we decided to use a small box, cardboard box, recycled material, with small burrs, that's seeds that stick in your sock. And the idea was to use each seed like a pixel, that you could make your own design. And the best part was when you rug someone, part of the idea sticking in the other person, and in that moment, you are spreading the idea and spreading the seed. Actually, nature designed this kind of solution really to spread the life. Obviously, it was impossible to produce this kind of stuff because it was really difficult to harvest burrs. And we come to imagine people with long sleeves and turtleneck rolling on the bush. But it was a little bit complicated. But because this idea in 1992, Anita Roddick, the owner of Body Shop, comes in our office, and she loved everything because we really starting doing things that she was working in some years before. And we were invited to take part of her team in London. It was amazing. It was 25 years And I was completely, oh my God, this is amazing. I remember me in the big 5-star hotel in London, jumping in the bed. I don't believe in this. It was really a special moment, and we keep the relationship until, unfortunately, she died some years ago. But she was a really amazing person and a woman. And I had the opportunity in a lecture that I did in TED in Brazil to use in my clothes a big line of seeds of birds. And I stayed all the day hugging people and spreading this seeds around the space. So in that moment, in 89, 90, we defined some design principles, completely inspiring in nature, that we keep using until today in everything that we've been doing in all of these years. The first one is work hard to reach maximum simplicity. Nature hates waste. Nature hates to spend more energy that is necessary. And we try to do this in our jobs and our projects in Tactile. Is the name of my company. Tactile comes from the idea to amplify. I didn't like the idea to study visual communication. Why only visual? Why not touch? Why not the other senses, multisensorial design? And this is the reason the name of my company is Tactile. So we brought some cases that could just before to share the Olympic cases with you guys, just to share our thought. This is an identity that we designed for Coca-Cola, Global Coca-Cola in Atlanta, from the Olympics. And the first idea was really trying to bring movement for this identity, the connection between Coca-Cola and the Olympics. And we thought in ribbon is that very important asset that Coca-Cola has been using the last years. We've been the opportunity to use this shape and try to tell a story, because this movement is really suggests the idea of the infinite flow. And nobody knows where does it come from and where does it lead. This is the idea, to explore the story behind the ribbon. And we just pick up a piece of paper. I remember in front of the James Somerville, the vice president of Coca-Cola Design. And I remember just flipping a piece of paper and showing the possibility to explore this movement. It's an infinite possibilities. Yeah. Only this flip is very simple. And this is the identity. And we explore this in many different ways, bringing the colors, the Olympic colors, creating space to destack some images, and crossing this with the athletes, and the packagings, some products too, out of home. The idea is really to spread in the city. This is starting to be applicated in Rio, and you're going to be using around the world. Copacabana's beach in Rio. So this is another idea, very simple, that is our identity, our own identity. And we would like to create something without any kind of Photoshop, nothing. And the idea was just to use a mural like that, and with just moving, creating different effects, sometimes sophisticated, but without any effect. And this is part of the templates that we've been using in our presentations, and this beautiful view of Rio de Janeiro, very similar of Table Mountain here. And this is very simple. And I'd like to take a picture very fast of you guys here with my mobile to use like a souvenir. And the second one is understand that emotion is the most powerful bonding ingredient. And we have a mascot that really works like this. It's a very simple plastic toy that works like that you can walk like this. And the main idea is when you throw it away, he jumps in his feet all the time. It's very interesting because sometimes we receive very formal people in Tátil, and we do this. The guy with the suit and tie says, "Oh," this effect of "oh," open a lot of space to tell stories. This is bowling with rats. Thank you. Consider optimization of energy and material resources. This is very important for us, and we've been working projects with this kind of briefing. This is a packaging that we developed for Natura. Is the biggest company, the biggest cosmetic company in Brazil. They are actually the biggest B Corp in the world today. It's very simple. It's just the package that has been using in refills, that we are using in the primary packaging, and create the opportunity to Natura go inside of the second tier with huge competitors like Pantene and other ones with the same price, but with some connection with awareness, consumer. This is very connected with the orange and the branding that Natura built in the last years. And it was a huge success. In less than a year, was in the 20% of the houses of Brazilians. And it was inspired in a drop of water. It's a minimum shape to keep the volume inside. Another one is design seeking natural solutions. We are all the time are doing this. And this is Janine Benius. I don't know if you heard about biomimicry, but probably yes. And she is the most famous biologist, American biologist, that spread biomimicry in the world in the last years. And we brought her to Brazil. We've been working together with Natura and other clients in some projects. And we developed, for example, packagings inspired in pelican beak. It's very flexible. And others like this, products like this, inspired in the different layers that fruits have. And this is a small soup that inside an individual dose. When you take a shower, in the end of your bath, you have a splash of refreshness, like the fruits with different layers. And this is a kind of treatment. You have different layers, the same idea, the same inspiration. You have a moisturize, is this? And after this, you have like a scrub, and moisturize again, and scrub again. In 6 days, you have the treatment finished in a very simple way. Respect these expressions, possibilities of materials. This is the cardboard, the material that we started to work. It's very expressive material and I believe that's very important to listen the desires that material has all the time. When you really don't listen them, they react, and the cracks appear, the tensions. It's very important to really trying to listen them. And we designed this packaging in 90s. It's really old design, but I like this so much. And we used to play that the material had designed this, not us. So this is really simple, and I like this like example. Consider the life cycle. It's basic, it's important. And we designed this simple flyer for a lecture that I did in Cannes. And the idea was to spread in Cannes a flyer. I would talk about design naturally, and I decided to use a simple leaf and to use laser to put there the image that I chose, and I did many of the others applications, and we want to align with this idea. And now, finally, the principle that inspired our main case in our life is the case from the Olympics. Always look for body and soul fine-tuning. How to create expressions that really can translate ideas. And everything started in that day when Rio won the opportunity to host the Olympics. It's the biggest event in the world. And this brand is so strong, it's so inspiring. It's not a commercial brand. And the international visibility of Olympics is the biggest in the world, more than 100,000 hours of broadcast, 220 countries around the world. And this is a dream project. And I remember when I started to study graphic design, this identity was so beautiful and so, it's considered the most complex visual identity in the world because you need to print in a pen and at the same time to dress the whole city. And it was funny to imagine that today, in this year, we're going to have our brand in the computer in the Fifth Avenue, and at the same time printed in a newspaper on the top of the small village in the Himalaya. This is really crazy. We didn't have only one target. Our target was really the entire world. And this was the place, the theater, where we received the briefing. When we arrived there, we saw more than 139 different agents, more than 300 people. And when I went there, oh my God, I'm going to give up because it's impossible. It's so many people. But the guy that was with me, our director from New Business, he said, "Oh, come on, let's go. We're gonna do this." And we stayed there. And after that was a big funnel. 139 becomes 87, and 25, and 8, and you finish on 2 of September in 2009. We received the news that we won this competition, and it was so amazing moment. Thank you so much. Thank you. The challenge of the briefing was huge. We had more than 12 different attributes that you should put in just one symbol. The first is reflect the local culture, but at the same time to be universally understood. Sometimes how can you put together to establish the balance between two attributes so different? To be dynamic, to be innovative, to be happy. And this is the whole line. Reflect the Carioca way of living. This is very important. Our enthusiasm, our energy, and really we designed more than 50 different logos, but only one really could fill completely these 12 different attributes, only one. And we decided, I think that this was really most important choice in the whole process, was to really to involve all of our team. When I say all, is completely, is all, really all. The IT people and the receptionist, everybody could have the opportunity to give their opinions in the whole creative process. We decided really to work more with cooperation, more than competition. Because we have 2 offices in Rio and São Paulo, and we decided really to explore the ideas for everybody. And one day, something really fun happened. We used to have meetings on Tuesdays to really to decide which ideas you're gonna still working. And normally we invited people, for example, our receptionist was invited in this meeting to give her opinion in some ideas. One of these logos we really loved, and we invited her. Her name is Ho. She has been working with us in the last 15 years. And we said, "Come on, Ho, can you see here the 12 attributes?" 1, 2, 3, okay. In the last 3 attributes, she said, "Oh, Fred, I really can't see these attributes." And we said to her, "Come on, Ho, it's there. It's over there, it's there. It's easy to see." And she said, "No, I can't see it." And we take it off this idea because we believe that we were designing a logo for everybody, not only for designers. And I think that this was really important in the whole process. Like I said, reveal the soul of Rio de Janeiro was the most important part. And this is a tool that we've been using in Tactile, that we developed there, that is in the table of all of the people inside of the committee, 2016 committee. And it's very important to guarantee the integrity of all of the expressions that has been creating for to represent Rio 2016. Most of everything, this should be a human brand. It's really important. And here, we had a very important decision, and that we decided to get a big risk, because we understood that it should be very special to create a 3D sculpture logo for a sculpture city, like Rio de Janeiro, and like Cape Town too. It's a sculpture city, a lot of mountains around us. And we decided this, and this could be terrible. They could hate, or they could love, because actually it's the first 3D logo in the history of the Olympics. And this is the guys that we're gonna working now in the ceremony, the closing ceremony, and opening and closing ceremony. But when we decided this, we really, I think that we chose the best part of the idea is there. And we had the sugar law, like inspiration, and you try to represent in an original way, and you do this, and all of the other curves are inspired in the shapes of Rio de Janeiro mountains. This is subtle. Nobody knows this, the other shapes. The sugar law is obvious, everybody knows. But the other, like Cagarras Island in front of Ipanema, all of the shapes are inside of the logo. And I took these pictures sometime before to come here. And yesterday I was flying by helicopter, and I saw this. Come on, this is really similar to Rio de Janeiro. I've heard about this semblance, this how our cities are really similar, and we decided to put our logo in your Table Mountain. Really similar, beautiful city. And we have white elephants to, like, this is Maracanã, and this is your stadium. It's part of the process. So most of everything in this brand was made to be experienced, and we imagined a lot of opportunities to create big sculptures to spread in the city. We are doing this, or small sculptures like that one, like jewelry, and I have here some of them. And this video was made. It's a huge sculpture, like 3 meters, with projection, trying to create the atmosphere and to explain a little bit the reason of the colors. Is our forests, our hope all the time. The blue represents our ocean and our lifestyle, easygoing, and the orange is our warm temperature and our way to receive people all the time. But when we received the news about we won the prize, the competition, we received another important news that we need to keep it in completely secret for 4 months. Only 5 people in my team could know about this news, because it's for 4 months we need to keep it completely secrecy. And we create this room, this NASA, only with digital print. People could go inside without internet, and we worked there creating more than 38 manuals with more than 300,006 final works. And finally, the launch of the logo was in Copacabana's beach in a beautiful day, probably the most amazing day in my life. A huge flag with 1,500 square meters, more than 2 million people there. And this is the small video that we did to launch the logo. Thank you. All of you guys are invited to take part in this amazing event that's going to happen there. The launch was a huge success, more than 93 positive opinions about the logo. You know, everything was so amazing. But for us, the best part of this was that people in general really loved the logo. This was amazing. I remember once I was in a community in a slum in Rio de Janeiro, and the guy, the leader of the community, told me, "Oh, come on, I understood your logo." "Oh, really? Come on, go ahead." "Yeah, it's 3 forces there. I can see 3 forces." "3 forces? Go ahead." "Yeah, I can see people and politicals and the companies together in a big hug to change the country and to change the city." And I said, "Yes, exactly what we thought." This is so amazing. People really started to see things that we didn't put there. It's crazy, but only good things. And this really makes us happy. I'm going to go direct because I have a short time. This is a small video of the newspaper in Brazil. But we need to finish the job. We need to create the second one. This was an invitation. They didn't make another bid. They invited us because the Paralympic International Committee loved the Olympic, and they invited us to create the Paralympic. It was a huge challenge, how to create another. And there, the 3D sculpture was part of the briefing. And we need to really represent the spirit in motion. It's so beautiful element and idea behind the Paralympic movement. This is Daniel Dias, really the biggest championship in Brazil. They have more medals than Michael Phelps. It's amazing. We imagine a video with Michael Phelps and Daniel Dias counting medals, like 1, 2, 3, and Michael Phelps stopped at 13, and Daniel is still 14, 15, 16. It's amazing, this guy. So, we need to design a beautiful brand for Paralympic, but more than this, we decided to design a multisensorial logo, because we have a target that is multisensorial. Blind people, deaf people, people without hands, and all of this kind of stuff. And we created a brand that has sound, that has sensors around the base of the brand. When you become closer, the heart, because this is 2 signals connected, the heart and the infinite, that represents the infinite energy that these guys have to go until the podium after an accident or things like this. And when you're getting closer, when you become closer to the base, the heart started to beat faster. And when you touch them, touch the signal, the symbol, it happens some kind of resonance with vibration. Has a subwoofer inside. It's really special. And here we have many of geometric inspirations for the rest of the job, like the pictos, and all of the seixos are part of our identity. And the logo was really complicated to design, more than 150 different logos we created, because it's very complicated in the Olympic identity. Sometimes the logotype must be just the secondary element, and the signal is the protagonist. But many times when you don't have the signal, the logotype must to be the protagonist. It's very complicated. And all of them was inspired in the shapes of the city too, and our tradition, our culture. And we have the pictograms, all of them inspired in the logo, guarantee the connection between everything. I'm going to go through very fast. Here, the products. And here, the coins in Brazil with and it's very amazing when I received the first one in buying something, and they gave me some money, and I said, wow, it's amazing. And they are creating many of these in silver and in a gold medal, in the gold coin. This is the gold. And posts too, stamps. It's so special to see everything happen there. And this is a video, a very short video, 3 minutes. I know that I broke my time, showing a little bit more the creative process of the Paralympic. Just 3 minutes.
Comitê Paralímpico Internacional achou que a marca paralímpica deveria ter conexão com a marca olímpica e a mesma força que ela já tinha demonstrado. E aí nos convidou para fazer.
A gente teve uma coisa muito positiva na marca olímpica, foi conseguir fazer as equipes trabalharem de maneira coletiva, como a gente nunca antes tinha conseguido em nenhum outro projeto da Tátil.
A gente já partiu também desse mesmo princípio, assim, todo mundo junto.
Foram mais de 150 desenhos só no meu caderno.
Seria fundamental a gente entender muito do universo, cada modalidade. A gente conhece um dos principais atletas do Brasil.
Tem que entrar naquilo, assimilar aquilo, viver aquilo, para projetar naquela realidade.
As pessoas têm muitos preconceitos em relação ao esporte paralímpico. Quem nunca viu uma competição não sabe do que se trata. E a experiência de assistir a uma competição é única, o nível de envolvimento que rola é impressionante.
A gente descobriu isso ao longo da dinâmica, eles são tão competitivos quanto qualquer outro atleta.
Aquilo ali é a vida deles, é sério, é treinamento.
Eles treinam pesadamente para ganhar um 12º numa competição.
Portuguese is much better, no?
Mais do que falar das diferenças, essa marca deveria falar do que nos torna iguais, do que nos é comum, do que existe em todo mundo.
Uma marca que pudesse estar alinhada com os conceitos do design universal, ou seja, uma marca para todos.
E o coração é o que nos torna iguais, é o que todo mundo tem igual.
Não é um coração super óbvio, ele é um coração que, se você for olhar, ele é abstrato, ela tem um infinito, que quando você está fazendo a curva, a performance, você volta, você se reinventa, é você se reinventar o tempo inteiro e ganhar energia para transformar.
Acho que todos que trabalharam nessa marca, né, teve essa ideia, né, de colocar um som, pulsar ali do coração. Eu coloquei a mão ali, eu comecei a pensar na minha história como atleta, não aguentei segurar a emoção.
Thank you. Thank you. She's Adria dos Santos. She's a runner, Brazilian runner. She's completely blind. And when she touched the logo, she told me that she was in a very special moment because in the whole life, like athlete in the last 20 years, she never had touch. She never had get any contact with the identity that represent her life. And this was the first time, and this was so inspiring. And now we are designing the ceremony, the open and closing ceremony for the Paralympics with Vicky Muniz and Marcelo Rubens Paiva. And it's a huge challenge really to keep this direction, trying to create a multisensorial ceremony. Thanks a lot.